All right, so now we are got our session recorded. All right, so what we're gonna do, let's look at our agenda. Oh, I actually didn't put it in yet. Okay, let me add that page for you guys. File. Okay, let's add this. Um, okay, so here's today's agenda. Post it up just in case you guys ever missed class. Today, 9/11. We do our check-in, so we did that with the Padlet. Make sure you do that. That was found in Unit 1, Week 4 Padlet. And now we're gonna do something called Ethos, Logos, Pathos, and soapstones, and then I'll show you guys your Week 5 homework. It's kind of weird since we had a 1 day off last week. All right, so what we need to do, click on Unit 1, where we just were before, and go to Week 4. All right, so what you'll see at the top is ethos, logos, pathos, notes, right? I'm going to go over this notes with you. We're going to go over it together, and as we go over it, you're going to fill it out. What you need to do right now is click on ethos, logos, pathos, notes, and you'll see this thing called assignments. What you need to do is then just press this link right here. It'll automatically save a copy of this, make copy onto your Google Drive. Okay, so make copy of it onto your Google Drive, and then afterwards, so now everyone has a copy of their own, and later on you're going to submit it, and you get grade for following on and doing what we did in the notes. So do that. So basically go to Unit 1, go to Week 4 assignments, and then click on this button, and it'll save it. And so far, no one's done it yet, but the link isn't there for you. So there's nothing for you to click. Same. That's weird. Okay. All right. So I see some people are having trouble with this. Let me. Okay, I got it. No description. Okay. Okay. I could fix that. Okay. Let me upload a file to it then. hopefully download doesn't mess it up, but all right, I uploaded a doc for it. Hopefully that works, but and then let me make a copy of it. Okay, so there's different ways for you to do this. There's a link right there too. All right, so different methods. You can download this document. If you download it, I'm not sure if it changes its. Yeah. Oh, downloading might not be the best thing actually. Just looking at it. All right. So the best thing to do. Let me take that option away. Yeah, because downloading actually it changes the format. So I know we're having difficulty with this. Either you might be able to see it on the description, there's something here, or click on that. It'll force a copy and it does the same thing. Cool. It looks like it worked for some people. See Georgina Lopez. Access denied. Walter access denied. Why does it say that? Either way, okay. Were you guys able to at least download it or at least click on one of the links? This one or that one? And was able to make a copy for yourself? It looks like this. I got it. Is there no description? Antonio, you got it. How about everyone else? You guys able to get this? I got it. Cool. Awesome. All right. So this is what we're mainly going to do for the class period today. We're a little bit behind because we had class off, but we're going to read through this, and then at the end of the period, you're going to submit it, right? So through submissions, you're just going to click on submit. Okay, let's go over it right now. So to begin the year, we had some like minor assignments before. In unit 0, if you just joined the class, I know some people had to join late, but we have some opening assignments in unit 0 and week 1 and 2. If you're brand new to class, I'd go back and then see if you figured it out. But we're in unit 1 and we're starting week 4. In week 3, we had it off. So today is our first official content week. All right, so you have this document. First thing we're going to learn is the rhetorical appeals. When I say rhetorical appeals, it means the logos, pathos, and ethos. Logos, it stands for logic. It's a Greek word. The use of logic, rationality, critical reasoning to persuade, right? So the word rhetoric means to persuade. So a lot of what we do in junior year is read speeches and arguments, and we try to get better at that. That is just like one of the main things we focus on. Huh. Yeah, that's one of the main things we focus on. This is weird. I think you guys all have your own copy open, right? I don't know why we're sharing a document. Doesn't make sense. Interesting. Okay. All right. So logos refers to maybe facts, statistics, um, if then statements, definitions of terms, explanation of ideas, cause and effect, details, anything that really shows reasoning, logic, facts, actual evidence, right? For Edwin, make sure you make a copy. So for you, I don't know why you took you to direct link. Everyone else should have their own copy. But for Edwin, just say, click on make a copy and you'll be able to write on that one. For pathos is the use of emotion. So we'll appeal to emotions, we'll draw spirituality or sympathies, stories about our testimonials, personal stories, when people like talk about their past, when people make personal connections. Pathos is when you use emotions. So like you see commercials and it's like the dog commercials and you see like sad country music in the background and this dog just singing. I'm not saying about dog singing. You see this dog crying and they're trying to get you to donate to the organization. They're using pathos. Or when people are trying to, make you feel guilty or make you feel sad or make you feel angry, they're using pathos. The next one is ethos. When we talk about ethos, it's credibility. When someone refers to why you should believe them. So, for example, if you are watching a commercial about some sort of medical or like a medicine, usually there is a person like in a white coat pretending to be a doctor, and they're like, I support this message, right? What they're trying to do is to legitimize what they're trying to say. Or if you watch like a commercial and it's like a McDonald's commercial and Travis Scott is saying buy these chicken nuggets, you're going to try to buy it. And that's because they're using their ethos, they're using the credibility of someone to sell a product. So you have like celebrities use their background to sell products. Yeah, someone says by Travis Scoot Burgers. You see LeBron James drinking Sprites or Drake drinking Sprite. The point of that is they're trying to sell the product, and the company's using their face to target their fans. So, for example, Antonio, you're a friend of you're a fan of Travis Scott. So they're trying to get his fans to buy the product. Okay, what we're gonna do is read through this speech together, and as we go through this speech, we're going to highlight. So what I need you to do is understand two things: how to highlight and how to comment, right? So how to highlight and how to comment. The first way to highlight is, let's say I highlight this one, and then I chose 3 colors to choose from. So use the same colors I chose. There's a yellow highlight, a green highlight, and the orange one. As we read through it, the yellow highlight will be for ethos. So anytime they refer to like their credibility of why we should believe them, ethos. Anytime we refer to the logic why we should believe them, we're going to highlight it green. And then anytime they refer to like some sort of emotional argument, go orange. And then I'm going to need your help on this one. So anytime you feel like you have the answer, feel free to turn on your mic and let me know. It's easier for me as like a teacher for feedback or you can type in the chat, but it's easier for me to have a discussion with you guys. All right, so let's say I read it and I think it is ethos. What I do is just highlight it, click on this button right here, which is a highlight color. And then if I think it's ethos, I'll go, it's a yellow, right? So bam, yellow. And what we do after that, I'm gonna click comment, this comment button. And then I'm going to explain this. This is ethos because ... Okay, so that's what we're going to do together. We're going to highlight and comment on your document. Did that make sense? Everyone got it? Yes. Okay, cool. At least you can hear me. Thank you, Eduardo and Brian and Antonio. All right. So I'm going to read through this. If you get confused later, like you fall behind, you rewatch this video, or you actually watch the video, the real video of the person speaking. This speech is called How to Speak So That People Want to Listen by Julian Treasure. It is a TED Talk, about 10 minutes long, but we're going to go through it together. And as we go through it, we're going to highlight. The human voice, its instrument we all play. It's the most powerful sound in the world, probably. It's the only one that can start a war or say, I love you. And yet many people have experienced that when they speak, people don't listen. And why is that? How can we speak powerfully to make change in the world? Maybe not one of these things yet, but definitely I would say this is his argument. Oh, actually, let me make a copy so I don't mess with this document. All right, so let's go here. So definitely this is his argument, right? This is his main argument. And we can tell that because we're just looking at the title of the speech. All right. So far we haven't highlighted anything. I just left a comment here. What I'd like to suggest, there are a number of habits that we need to move away from. I've assembled for your pleasure here 7 deadly sins of speaking. I'm not pretending this is an exhaustive list, but these 7, I think, are pretty large habits that we can fall into. All right, so far, I don't think we have anything too good. First, gossip. Speaking ill of somebody who's not present. Nice habit, not a nice habit, and we know perfectly well that the person gossiping 5 minutes later will be gossiping about us. All right, so he gives his first argument. Do you think this is an argument for ethos, logos, or pathos? What do you guys think? So he has 7, so he actually lets us know that he's gonna give us 7 arguments to prove his point. His first argument, first, gossip of speaking ill of somebody who's not present, not a nice habit. And we know perfectly well that gossiping 5 minutes later will be gossiping about us. Knowing what we know about ethos, logos, pathos, what do you think he's trying to, what is his argument trying to say? Okay, it's to stop gossiping, but we're trying to figure out what type of argument is he making. Is it an ethos argument where we should believe him because who he is? Is it a logos argument because it's logical, because it's evidence? Or is it a pathos argument because we're trying to feel something emotionally? Some people are saying pathos. I said we know perfectly well that gossiping 5 minutes later will be gossiping about us. I actually think they're making a logos one, and I'll explain that why. Because you don't feel any emotional connection to that. Do you feel like sad, happy, jealous, or anything by him saying this? No, What we do feel though is he's trying to make an argument. So we're going to highlight um, highlight this in green, and there puts is logos because he is trying to make a logical statement about how gossip leads to more gossip. So that's the point. So it's logic. He's saying if someone is gossiping about or gossiping, they're probably going to be gossiping about you later. So make sure you highlight that. I chose the wrong green color. Did I? No, that's right. Okay, so I highlight that one. Next one. Second, judging. We know people who are like this in conversation, and it's very hard to listen to somebody if you know that you're being judged and you found wanting the same time. What do you think about this? Second, we know people who are like this in conversation, and it's very hard to listen to somebody if you know that you're being judged and found wanting at the same time. Wait, what do you think? Why? So, Vanessa, you put pathos. Do you have a reason? Why do you think it's pathos? And it could be between a few of them. What do you guys think? Eduardo, what do you think? It could be. Not fully sure. Yeah, it's kind of confusing. But as you go through, second, we know that people are like this in conversation. It's very hard to listen to somebody if you know that they're being, if you're being judged and found wanting. Yeah, you could go either. Someone said pathos. You go logos. It could be logosin. This is logos because he is trying to convince that speaking that it is conversation. Yeah, it's fine. Oh wait, I forgot to highlight this. All right, highlight, cool. Third, negativity. You can fall into this. My mother in the last years of her life became very negative and hard to listen to. I remember one day I said to her, it's October 1st today. And she said, I know it is, isn't it dreadful? It's hard to listen when someone is negative. All right, which one, what is third? What is it? What kind of argument is that? Ethos, logos, or pathos? What do you think? Joshua, you put pathos. Why, Joshua? You guys could speak on the mic too. Let me see. It might be easier. I don't know. I got a feeling. What do we think? Erica, what do you think? Probably, okay, so Josh is saying probably because he brought up his personal life. Yes. All right. So not only that, he brings up his mom, who he says passes away. So third, negative, you can fall into this. My mother, in the last years of her life, became very negative and it's hard to listen to. Right. So he brings up his personal life. He brings up not only his personal life, he brings up the fact that his mom passes away, and when even when she was dying, she was negative. So we're in highlights, part of that right there. Let's say this is a a logo, a pathos argument. So pathos, I agree to, highlight in orange. And this is pathos because he brings up something sad from his personal life. Cool, let's continue on. And another from form of negativity complaining. Well, this is a national art of UK. It is our national sport. We complain about weather, about sports, about politics, about everything. But actually complaining is a viral misery. It's not spreading sunshine, it's lightness and the world. Yeah, I think it's fine. I think since he mentions his background, let's just say that is ethos, because we learn a little bit about who he is, right? So ethos. This is ethos because it gives us a glimpse of who he is. All right, it's a lot more to read for the speech. Excuses. We've all met this guy. Maybe they've all been trying this guy. Some people have a blame thrower. They just pass it on to everyone else and don't take responsibility for their action. And again, and hard to listen to somebody who is being like that. Penultimate, the 6 of the 7. Oh, I realized he actually, excuses is the next one. Excuses. We've all met this guy. Maybe we've all been this guy. Some people have a blame thrower. They just pass it on to everyone else and don't take their responsibility for their actions. Again, and it's hard to listen to someone who's being like that. All right. I would say this is probably like the similar argument that's being made in first and second, where it's saying that, talking about logically of people make excuses and they pass it on. So let's say this is logos because he is explaining people make excuses. People who make excuses. All right, penultimate, the 6 of 7, embroidery, exaggeration. It demeans our language, and actually sometimes. For example, if I see something that really is awesome, what do I call it? And then of course, this exaggeration becomes lying. And out of lying, we don't want to listen to people we know are lying to us. All right, so that one, let's say it's the same kind of argument, right? He's making this argument about the type of people you want to listen to. All right, so this is logos because he is providing. All right, so just in case I have one person joining late right now, what we did is you click on this assignment on unit 1, unit 4, unit 1, week 4. You click on this, and if you click on this, it'll create a copy. But if this link doesn't work for you right here, then you have to click on this link. All right, and then what we're doing is reading through this and highlighting. Okay, so we know that his argument for this whole speech is how to speak that people want to listen to you. He lays out specific arguments. His first argument is don't gossip. Second argument is don't judge. Third one is don't be negative. Fourth one is stop complaining. Fifth one, don't use excuses. The sixth one, don't exaggerate. So always speak truthfully. And then the last one, and finally, dogmatism, the confusion of facts with opinions. When those two things get conflated, you're listening into the wind. You know, somebody is bombarding you with their opinions as if they were true. it is difficult to listen to that. All right. Similar to what we have, he's making arguments of logic, and we're going to go with our, oh, why is that different green color? Oh, I could add a comment to it. This is also logos because making an argument of belief and facts. All right, so he makes this argument with seven logical steps. Fortunately, these things spell a word. The word is hail, and it has great definition as well. I'm not talking about the stuff that falls from the sky and hits you on the head. I'm talking about this definition. It greets or acclaims enthusiastically, which is how I think our words will be received if we stand on these four things. So what do they stand for? See if you can guess. H, honesty, of course, being true. You say being straight and clear. The A, authenticity, just being yourself. A friend of mine described it as standing. All right, so someone needed to go back real fast. You good? Cool. So remember, we're going to submit this document. You're going to submit a version of it to me. It's just so I know that you followed along. I give you credit for just following along. All right. The word hail, I always read this already. I is integrity, being your word, actually doing what you say and being somebody people can trust. And the L is love. I don't mean romantic love, but I do mean wishing well for two reasons. First of all, I think absolute honesty may not be what you really want. I mean, my goodness, you look ugly this morning. Perhaps that's not necessary. Tempered with love, of course. Honesty is a great thing. But also, if you're really wishing someone well, it's very hard to judge them at the same time. I'm not sure you can do those two things simultaneously. So he comes up with this this argument right here. So he has a definition for hail. We're just gonna highlight this. And I think we're okay with getting it. You know, sometimes you read speeches and it's all pathos, and sometimes all logos. I think for him, he's a little more logical, so he likes to logical arguments. So this is logos because he comes up with a logical argument. All right. So he makes this argument saying that first, honesty, it's good, but you want to be clear with people. Authentic, you're just being yourself. Integrity, being truthful, being honest with your word, and actually doing what you say. And love. So what are you trying to say too? But it's good to have love because it's not always good to be too honest. Like you want to go, if someone asks you, oh, if you see someone and like their hair's all messed up, like, yeah, your hair looks ugly today. Yes, you're being honest, but that's not being loving. So he's saying that it's not always good to be completely honest. I mean, be honest, but you don't have to say certain things just to prove it. All right. Also, now that's what you say, and it's like an old song. It's what you say. It's also the way you say it. You have an amazing toolbox. The instrument is incredible, and yet this is a toolbox that very few people ever opened. I'd like to have a little rummage in there with you now and just pull a few tools out that you might like to take away with you and will increase the power of your speaking. Register, for example, now falsetto. Register may not be very useful most of the time, but there's a register in between. I'm not going to get very technical about this for any of you who are voice coaches. You can locate your voice, however. So if I talk up here in my nose, you can hear the difference. if I go down, but I think he's supposed to change his voice. If I go down in my throat, which is where most of us speak from most of the time, but if you want weights, you need to go down to your chest. You hear the difference? We vote for politicians who with lower voices. It's true because we associate depth with the power and authority that's registered. So I think in his real speech, he's changed his voice. Let's go logic. And once again, some speeches will be all logic and some speeches will be other ones. He's saying that if you have a deep voice, this is Logos because he is making the argument people with voices listen to. All right, so then we have timbre. It's the way your voice feels. Again, research shows that we prefer voices which are rich, smooth, and warm like hot chocolate. Well, if that's you, if that's not you, that's not the end of the world because you can train. Go and get a voice coach. And then there are amazing things you can do with breathing, with posture, with exercise to prove the timbre of your voice. Once again, he uses a logical argument. Here's Logos. Research. He refers to research. Now I feel like we're overwhelmed. Maybe can we find a different way? You know, we also can claim okay, well, if that's not you, that's not the end of the world. Okay, we talked about that. Then prosody. I love prosody. This is the sing-song, the meta language that we use in order to impart meaning. It's the root for meaning in conversation. People who speak all on one note are really quite hard to listen to if they don't have any prosody at all. That's where the world's monotonic comes from. Monotonous, monotone. And we have repetition prosody coming in where every sentence ends as if it were a question when it's actually not a question. It's a statement. And if you repeat that one over and over, it's actually restricting your ability to communicate through prosody, which I think is a shame. So let's try and break that habit. Pace. I can get very, very excited by saying something really, really quickly, and I can slow it right down and emphasize. And at the end of that, of course, is our old friend, silence. There's nothing wrong with a bit of silence in talk, is there? We don't have to fill it with ums and ahs. It can be very powerful. Of course, pitch often goes along with the pace to indicate arousal, but you can do it with your pitch. Where did I leave my keys? Where did you leave my keys? So slightly different meaning in those deliverances. Oh, somebody's trying to say, where did you leave my keys? Where did you leave my keys? Trying to impart different meanings. This is a timestamp. And finally, volume. I can get excited by using volume. Sorry about that if I start on anybody. Oh, it probably screams. And finally, volume. I can get really excited by using volume. Sorry about that if I start on anyone. Or I can pay attention by getting very, very quiet. Some people broadcast the whole time. Try not to do that. That's called sodcasting, imposing your sound on people and you carelessly and inconsiderately. Not nice. Let's just call it. I feel like a lot of this is right. Okay, we're almost done. Of course, where this all comes into play most of it is when you've got something really important to do. It must be standing on stage like this and giving a talk to people. It might be proposing marriage or asking for a raise or a wedding speech. So that one is definitely a pathos. Let's go with orange, right? And the reason it's pathos is he's giving you like a feeling. When he says like those examples specifically, you're supposed to feel something, like, because a lot of people don't care about public speaking and it might be frightful to you, but the fact that you bring those up, he wants you to feel a certain way. So this is pathos because he wants the audience to feel like they need to be better. All right, so whatever it is, if it's really important, you owe it to yourself to look at this toolbox and engine that it's going to work on. And no engine works well without being warmed up. Warm up your voice. Actually, let me show you how to do that. So what would you like to stand up from them? I'm going to show you the 6 vocal warm-up exercises that I do before every talk I do. All right, let's make that a ethos. So he's building his own credibility. He says he's actually using these techniques. So this is ethos because he is building his own credibility by saying he uses these techniques. Cool. All right, so anytime you're going to talk to anybody important, do these. First, arms up, deep breath, in and sigh out. So it's kind of awkward kind of reading this speech for this part. The video makes more sense, but like that. One more time, very good. Now you're going to warm your lips and we're going to go ba, 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 ba. Very good. Now burr, just like that when you were a kid, burr. Now your lips should be coming alive. We're going to the tongue next, exaggerate, la, 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 la. Beautiful. You're getting really good at this. And then roll an R. Oh, I can't roll my R's. I definitely can't do that. That's like champagne for the tongue. Finally, and if I can do one, the pros call this the siren. It's really good. It goes with we, it goes to ah. This is we is high and ah is low. So you go we. Fantastic. Give yourself a round of applause. Take a seat. Thank you. Next time you speak, do those things in advance. Now, let me put this in context to close. This is a serious point. This is where we are right now, right? We speak not very well into people who simply aren't listening into an environment that's all about noise and bad acoustics. I have talked about this on stage in many different phases. What would the world be like if we speak powerfully to people who were listening and conscious in environments which were actually fit for purpose? I think he's trying to get us to like imagine like a better world. I think that's a feeling he's trying to get us to feel. So let's go orange. This is pathos because he wants us to feel something. All right, or make it bigger, larger, or what would the world be like if we were creating sound consciously and consuming consciously and designing all our environments consciously for sound? That would be a world that sounds beautiful, one that we're understanding and would be norm and ideal. Same thing. I'll go. He's saying that if you actually use his techniques, we'll have a much beautiful world. This is pathos because stating that the world beautiful if we follow these tips. Okay, not much pathos, not much ethos, because a lot of it is him making an argument. But you can see, so logic, he makes a lot of logical arguments. His goal in the speech is to convince you of different ways to speak so that people want to listen to you. First, he gives 7 tips. Don't gossip, don't judge, don't be negative, stop complaining, don't give excuses, don't exaggerate, and don't be dogmatic, which means you're only speaking that your opinions are true. People don't want to listen to that. And then he goes on to give you what you should do. You should speak with hail, which is honesty, authenticity, integrity, and love. And then he goes on to say that people should control their voices. He's saying that the lower your voice makes you sound powerful. The higher your voice makes you sound like you are less sure of yourself, maybe more. So he's saying that there's different ways to control your voice. And then towards the end, he says, if we're all could do this, then we'll have a better world. All right, so that's the first part of this assignment. Next, what I want you to do is we need to just figure out what his claim is. So we know his claim. His claim is very first sentence. The human voice is the instrument we all play. It's a powerful sound. It is the only one that we can or say I love you. And yet many people have experienced that when they speak, people don't want to listen. And what is that? How can we speak powerfully? So his whole purpose is to explain why people speak. I think that his claim is somewhere along here, right? So his claim is that people were to speak with what's the gossiping, judging, negativity. Okay, actually, what I always say, if people were to speak if people were to something, if we were speaking powerfully. Okay, I think that's what I got. Is if people were to speak powerfully, the world would be a much more better, beautiful. All right, that's essentially his argument. He's saying that if people do this, we'll have a better world. All right, so what is his evidence? Okay, what we need to do is get the evidence from here. So for ethos, we're just gonna copy and paste. Which ones are yellow? Right here, we have one that's yellow. He's talking about his history. And once again, there's not too much of the other ones here. It's just, it is what it is. Here, let's make this a and we have one more right here. Oops, what did I just copy right now? Copy, so I just copy and paste. All right, so we have 2 examples of ethos, not too much. We'll do the same thing with logos. So anytime I have logos, wow, quite a bit. So copy, and just so it's easier, I'm going to hit this button that says bullet points, just so it tracks it easier. All right, next one. We have you're being judged and found you wanting more. And some of these, you could argue they could also be pathos, but I think ethos is fine. All right, so go through and grab all the ones we thought was logos. Okay, there might be a little more, but do the same thing with Pathos. Remember, I made it easier. Way too fast. Oh, so I mean, if you guys highlighted the section already, all you got to do is just copy and paste the colors into the right section. So if you go all the way to the bottom, there's a yellow section, a green section, and an orange section. So if you guys followed the first part correctly, if you then all you got to do, sorry, it's hard to tell. I'm not really looking at any faces. I'm just kind of talking to myself. So all I did when we highlighted all the areas is I'm just copying and pasting all these arguments from up here and placing them down here. So I literally just went back and copy and pasted all these arguments, right? So for the ones that we had in green, I just copy and paste, copy and paste. So paste. All right, so there's no point of typing this stuff over again because all we're doing is grabbing the quotes from the area that we just looked at. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the orange. I'm going to highlight it and copy. And I'm going to paste it down here. Just so I know all the arguments. There wasn't too much pathos, but okay. Thank you for letting me know, though. It's hard to tell when it's just me talking to myself. All right, so that's what you need to do. That was our notes for our in-class notes. So our goal today was to practice looking at ethos, logos, and pathos. Because for homework, you're gonna do a speech on it by yourself. All right. There's some other things down here. What I need you to do is just answer this question in like a few sentences. Does the speaker make a good argument? So his claim is if people were to speak powerfully, the world would be a much more beautiful and better place. If you can do it side notes, yeah, definitely. It makes it easier. It would try doing it because if you guys did it correctly, I should be able to see it. But since it's our first time, I'll give you some notes about it in the future. So all I did with the side notes is I explained why I think that is pathos. So like for this one, I did the side notes and I put this is logos because he's trying to make it logical. If you missed anything, I recorded this whole thing. I'll post it up by tonight. But what you did is we highlighted these areas and based on ethos, logos, pathos, and then I copied and pasted onto here. And then all you got to do before you submit it is answer this at the bottom. The speaker does or does not. I mean, it's up to you guys what you think. Do you think he's able to make a good argument? So we know his claim. He claims that people, if everyone uses his tips to speak more powerful, we will have a better place, a better world. Do you agree with that? Do you actually not? Doesn't matter if you agree. Do you think he made a good argument? So it's not. While your opinion matters, I want you to judge whether he made a good argument, not whether you think he is right or wrong. That's a different That's a different way to argue. So we're seeing if he makes a good argument, not whether or not you agree with him. Okay, so think about that. Does he make a good argument? And that's a lot of what we're going to do. When you have that finished, you're going to submit it. You can submit it later today. But the goal of it is to show me you were able to follow along and take notes and do the highlights. All right, leave that to the side real fast. And then I'm going to show you your homework. So when you're ready to submit it, you're going to submit it. Hopefully do it by today, because the goal of that was like notes to kind of learn about how to do the assignment. So if you were able to download it, let me see. Some people were able to download it. But if you weren't able to download it,
can we submit the notes now?
People's documents. Hey, but I can't see your highlights. All right, Nicholas, I can see yours. Cool. All right, awesome. When you're ready you finish the bottom portion, which it says, does he make a good argument? Type that in, and then you're going to submit. All right, you're going to submit the argument. If you had to do Google Docs, you might have to submit the docs like that. All right, so let's look at this. If you look at our agenda for today, I post up yours is access denied, yeah. Then you might need to download the Google Doc and then submit the file.
Mister, I have a question.
I wonder if I could view it the way that you guys see it. It's hard for me to know what you guys are going through right now, because I can't see like your version. Because this is like the teacher version right here. So I don't know how it looks for you guys. Yeah, Antonio, go ahead. What's your question?
I'm gonna tell you right now. So I submitted to the.
Antonio?
Yep. I submitted it to the right there to the.
Is your mic on? Is my mic on? My mic's not on. Hold on. There you go. Sorry about that. That was my bad. My speakers are on.
No, it's cool. So I submitted it to that site where it says submissions.
Yeah.
But it doesn't show the highlight. Can I just share it to you?
It doesn't. Why doesn't it show the highlight?
If you want to, I could share it to you.
Yeah. So, okay. Let me fix something on the assignment, and then. All right. That's weird, because I did this assignment with my other class and it was working fine. All right, and let's click on this. Let's say if it's not showing it, just click share. If it is not showing up correctly, click share, and you're gonna share it to my email. That's my email. All right, so here are your 4 assignments. The first one, the very first one, all of them relate to the same speech. If you click on the first one, hopefully it should work for you. It'll open up this speech by Barack Obama from 2004. What you need to do is highlight, do the same thing we just did right now. Go through and read it, and annotate for ethos, logos, and pathos. Right, so then you submit it just to show that you did that. Afterwards, oops, you're going to do a say mean matter. So same thing, open it, it's going to have this. So a say mean matter, make sure you include a heading. So I gave a sample heading. You just need to replace your name and replace the correct date. And then the name of the class is author's composition. Say mean matters. Your goal is in this first box for says, you choose 5 quotes from the speech that we read, right? That you like about it. Let's say I choose a quote, and then for the mean, what does a quote mean? Summarize it, explain it to me. And then for the matter, what does the quote mean? Why is it important? Why is it significant? You do that 5 times. So you choose 5 quotes, and for each quote, you explain what it means, and then for each quote, explain why is it important? Why is it important for his argument? Why is he saying that? Afterwards, you're going to fill out this thing. So it's a new thing. You might see this. It's called soapstone. So as you go through the speech, you're going to fill this out. So what's the subject? What's the occasion? What's the audience? The purpose, speaker, the tone. And then if you're confused, here's some instructions right here. And then the last thing you need to do, we share the document. I would try to submit it, but if that doesn't work, then you could share it with me. I would prefer to try your best to submit it because it's easier for me to keep track of rather than getting like 50 emails. But if it doesn't work, then go ahead, try to just share with me my email. And then the last thing you got to do is write 2 paragraphs on discussion about his speech. So his speech, I want you to analyze it. What is his argument? Summarize his argument, and then explain how does he use what makes his argument strong. So what is he doing? So talk about his ethos, his logos, and his pathos. And this is all due next Thursday at 11:59. So there's 4 assignments. All of them relate to the same thing. The first one is annotating. You're highlighting. You're just showing me that you were able to read through it. The second one is a say mean matter. So you're choosing quotes you like. The third one, we're doing the soapstones. And the fourth one, we're analyzing his speech. And then all of them, hopefully it works. I don't know why it's not working for the other one, but you submit the document. The quotes that you get it from the speech. So for the say mean matter, the quotes you get comes from the speech that you annotate, this one. So this is where you get your quotes from. And all that's due next Friday. I mean, it sounds like a lot of work, but like not really. Imagine if we were in class together. I would give you 1 assignment a day and we'd go over it. So it's really a week's worth of work, and you have till next Thursday to do it. All right, we have 5 minutes left. Now it's time. If you feel like you understood everything, and today was a little longer because we didn't have class last week, so we had to make up for 2 weeks of sessions. But if you have any questions, please stick around. If you feel like you understand what's happening, go ahead and you could head out. But if you have any questions, please stick around and ask it now. If not, I'll see you guys next week. See you, Eduardo. Have a great day. Can you take a picture of the side notes? Sure. I'm not sure how I can show that to you. And once again, if you have any questions, please stick around. If not, you feel free to head out. Okay. Do we have to add side notes? Add some, because in the point of side notes is you're supposed to prove, you have to prove to me why do you think it is ethos, logos, or pathos? When are you going to upload the video on YouTube? I'll try to do it by tonight. All right, sorry. I'll do it right now, but it takes some time to upload. It takes like 3 hours. So it'll probably be up there by 1, 2. I'll post the link on Schoology once it's uploaded. Cool. Let me stop share. If you have any questions, let me know. Take roll. All right. Brian Vargas. Karen. Stephanie Mejia. Walter Linares. Melanie Jimenez. Karen Vasquez. Angel Sandoval. Eduardo Davila. Marco Juarez. Georgina Lopez. Paula Moreno. Erica Valdez. Erica Chavez. Juan Pisa. Porto M. Ella. Ella. Surah. Edwin Alvarado. Cynthia Espana.